Ladies and gentlemen, our second speaker today is from almost the same time zone, Dr. Li from China Agricultural University, and Dr. Li's presentation around fibre utilisation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate the invitation by World Nutrition Conference and BioMe. It's my first time to Austria and Germany. I will speak about improving crop residue nutritive value by upgraded calcium oxide treatments. I will speak in 3 parts. I will give you a very brief introduction about our dairy farming. And the second part is utilization of low-quality roughage in China. You know, our animal husbandry is growing over the years, especially dairy farming and beef farming. We need high-quality forages. You know, we import alfalfa hay from the United States. Also in China, we have plenty of crop residues, how to use them, how to treat them, how to feed the ruminant animals is a key issue for the governments, also for the research institutes. And the third part is upgraded calcium oxide treatment of crop residues. Our modern dairy farming started in the late 70s. You know, our agricultural reform policy, you know, China opened the door to the outside. So at that time, the farm size is smaller. You can see each family farm 5 or 10 dairy cattle. So the human being feeds the dairy cattle. And 20 years later, you know, in China, if you visit dairy farms, you can find large dairy farms. Some farms with more than 1,000 or 10,000 dairy cattle. Tiama mixed wagon is quite popular in China. Also, the milk production is, you can see, is increasing very, very fast over the last 20 years. In the year of 2012, our dairy cattle number is 14 million. That's total, including calves, heifers, and milking cattle, not like United States and European countries. If you talk about the cattle number, you said milking cattle. Be careful in China if you talk about the cattle number, that's total. And milk output was 37 million metric tons. That's annually output. You know, in the year of 2008, you know, it's farming scandal in China. You know, our dairy is entering a structure adjustment. Government pay more attention to the milk safety. That's a key issue for the government officials. And, you know, our protein, the ratio of protein consumed by Chinese people is also going up. You know, prior to the year of 2000, you know, our protein ratio consumed is less than 10%. But with our growing economy and the income, the protein ratio consumed by Chinese people increasing. You know, 2012 is around 23. If you visit China, if you want to visit dairy farms, I suggest you go north of China, northeast of China, and northwest of China. It's close to the former Soviet Union republics, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and also in the Mongolia, north part of China, close to the Mongolia. And our milk production, you know, 83% of the milk output from north part of China. And you know our milk price is also increasing, follow the Japan and Korea. You know, last year is the average raw milk price around 5 yuan. If calculate euro, maybe 100 liters of raw milk is about 60 euro. It's very high milk price. So the dairy farms are very happy last year because they make money. The dairy industry, dairy farming has been the most profitable industry in China. But you know, this year, the raw milk price is going down. You know reasons, because our high raw milk price, so milk products from international poured into China. So some people, you know, government officials, researchers, and also industry are talking about how to protect, how to support our dairy farming, because industry invest more in dairy farming, buy machinery, import heifers from New Zealand or from Australia is very high, very expensive heifers. So, and also very high infrastructure investment in China. So our raw milk price is not competitive compared to the United States, compared to the European countries, especially compared to the New Zealand and Australia. So our dairy farming, you know, nowadays, you know, has been entering a structure adjustment period. So the government pay more attention to the scaled dairy farming. You know, encourage the family farms. You know, they can do cropping farming and dairy farming. They can supply the high quality forage, such as corn silage and also forages. So governments also pay more attention to the environment. You should do dairy farming. You should consider about the waste treatment, and also how many dairy cows you hold, how many lands you should have. I will show some large dairy farms in China. That's Beijing Sanyuan's largest dairy group in China. Each farm with 800 or 1,000 dairy cattle is open site, is open roof, free stall, Tiama. Also, you can see the free stall, and you can see like American style dairy farming, sand bathing. Also, in south of China, because you can see much more rainfall. You know, the barns. You know, just use some rivers, some channels or some fences as a proof to resistant to the infectious disease. Some farms, also researchers, they think the high quality forage is important, is critical for the high milking yield, for the higher milk components. That's right. But you know, China is limited natural resources, especially for land. You know, in China, per capita of people just maybe 1 or 15th of hectare. So that's limited land value. So in China, top priority for the government to feed Chinese people, to supply much more protein products such as milk, beef, and pork. But how to feed the animals? You know, besides imports soy from America, from United States, from Brazil, Argentina, China has plenty of the low quality refuges. How to use them? How to treat them to feed the dairy cattle to improve the digestibility is an important issue for the researchers. So this low cost resources could be a qualified, good feed resource for beef cattle, for heifers, for low and mid lactation dairy cattle. So if we use the appropriate treatment methodology, such as physical, chemical, and biological methods. In China, we have, the corn stover, rice straw, wheat straw. We have, annual production of corn stover is about 220 million tons. That's vast roughage resources. And some crop residues are banned as waste. Some farms even burn them. So you can see in China, in autumn, in August, September, October, or in May, the farms burn the wheat straw, burn the corn stover, caused serious environment pollution. China, we care about the PM 2.5. It's a problem for Beijing. Many cars. In harvesting time, the farmers burn the crop residues. There's environment and also social problems. This is a good way. You harvest the crop, you ground them, and you treat them to feed the animals, especially ruminant animals. That's good. But in China, only 1/3 of the crop residues feed to the animals. Most of them, abandoned. The farms used them as a fuel. 15 of them directly returned to the field after ground by machinery. Only 2 or 3% of them used for industry, for making papers. But, it's a pollution industry. If you use the straw to make paper, use many chemical materials. In China, this industry is not allowed to develop because they pollute the Yangtze River and Yellow River. That's a mother river of China. People drink the water from the Yangtze River and the Yellow River. Also, corn stover, rice straw, and wheat straw has a high NDF content. NDF composed of hemicellulose, cellulose, and lignin. Lignin is very hard to digest by the ruminant animals because lignin existed in stover is interspersed with hemicellulose. It forming a complicated structure and resistant to the digested by the microbes in the rumen. So how to break down the complex structure, connect the lignin and hemicellulose to release the hemicellulose that can increase the digestibility of the corn stover and rice straw and wheat straw, the crop residues. So in China and in the world, there are many studies to improve the quality of the crop residues, including sodium hydroxide, ammonia treatment, urea treatment, calcium hydroxide treatment, also physical method, pressure, heat, and ground, so on. So the utilization of the low-quality roughage, in the practical application, there are some limited, great limitation, because of the technical, economic, and environment. So we worked with ADM. So we use calcium oxide to treat the corn straw and rice straw, wheat straw, to increase the digestibility of them. But if you use calcium oxide to treat the corn straw, you need to protect them very well. If you fail to do that, maybe it will become moldy. This is a problem. So we kept them in anaerobic condition is a very effective way to prevent moldy. We worked with ADM. We do some experiments to increase low-quality forage digestibility and use them to feed the dairy cattle to increase production. Sometimes we reduce the feed cost. That's an experiment we did in China. We treat the corn straw with calcium oxide. That's in situ methodology. We have dairy cattle with rumen cannulas. We put nylon bag inside the rumen based on the OSCURF, OSCURF procedure. Also we use in vitro gas production. We use some tubers. We collect the rumen fluids. We put inside the tubers, and we put in the feed materials, such as crop residue, to test the fermentation. We test the gas volume to see the digestibility. So that pictures show the untreated corn straw that's mixed with calcium oxide. After anaerobic storage, this light brown color I think it's good color for the treated corn straw. You can see this calcium percentage increase, also this moisture increasing. You can see the in vitro dry mat digestibility, in vitro organic digestibility, NDF digestibility. You can see with these two parameters going up, the ISDMD, ISOMD, NDFD was improved. That's good news. Also, the in vitro, in the parameters, you can see the gas production is increasing with calcium percentage going up, and the moisture, much more moisture. The gas production is okay, is becoming better, and also the IVOMD is increasing. So that's important data. We use 5% of calcium to ground the straw, and keep the moisture 50 or 60 is a useful way to increase the digestibility of the corn straw. And the second experiment, how about the response of the dairy cattle? So we use the treated corn straw as a partial replacement for corn silage, Chinese sheepgrass, or corn grain in mid or like late dairy cattle. That's materials and methods I will quick skip of it because of time. We use the methodology, we transport corn stover, and we load into the tiama, we chop them, we add water, we add calcium oxide, we mixing them and unload them and compact and sealing them. So that's the cattle we selected. That's experiment treatments, control treatment, replacing sheepgrass, replacing corn silage, replacing corn grain treatment. That's ration formula. And also the same CP, same net energy for lactation, maybe and also we replace the forage, see treated Chinese field, that's can see half of corn silage, and you can see corn. We replace the corn. Maybe we also supplement with some DDGS to keep the CP. So that's a response from, that's a chemical composition of the forage. So we treated starve. The NDF is going down, and ADF is going down. That's good news. Maybe much more semicellulose released. Also, that's experiment period 19 days. We test the dry matter and body counting score of milk yields. Also, this mixed model. Also, the results. You can see this graph. You can see the dry matter intake, increased, but it's not significant. But the milk fat is going down. But protein maybe is going down. But MUN is going down. But this is bad news. But it's maybe based on our raw milk payment system is okay. If your milk protein is higher than 3, it's okay. But the important thing is the economic benefits. We use the very cheap resources to replace the expensive material such as corn or soybean meal. So the IOFC compared with the control group is gained. So that's good news. The farms, they follow the profitability. I make money. I use the cheap resources. I keep the milk yield nearly the same. The milk protein and fat also decrease, but it's okay. So they make more money. So my conclusion is results from this study indicating that replacing a portion of Chinese sheepgrass, corn silage, and corn grain in mid or late lactation diets can improve IOFC without decreasing coarse dry matter intake, milk yield, and body count score. I think that's my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, probably got time for maybe one quick question if there's one on the floor.
Oh, please.
I want to know the period, the fermentation period in the bunker after the treatment. How long? 2 months, 3 months? For the product be good for the cows?
For the treatment is for the use calcium, treat the cornstarch, maybe 7 days.
Okay.
If you want to good digestibility, if you keep store in the anaerobic situation, maybe 21 days is okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You want to ask a quick question at the front? You're the timekeeper, so you're going to...
Yes, that's
Yeah. Thank
so
you.
I have the power. Thank you very much, Dr. Li, for your presentation. Very nice. I was just
My pleasure.
wondering, because you mentioned about moisture and then about mold,
Yeah.
and then I saw in the formulation using DDGS.
Yeah.
Did you take into account in your, at least in your second experiment, mycotoxins? And did you check mycotoxins?
Yeah, we didn't check the mixed toxin in the raw milk, but you know, in China.
No, I mean in the DDGS.
DDGS, you know, in China, some dairy farms, take samples of the, you know, feed ingredients, they send to the laboratory to test, because the dairy processing companies care more about the mycotoxin because of the mycotoxin problems in manure. This company caused a big loss 4 years ago because the media reports the mycotoxin. But you have a solution. If the moldy problem,
yeah, but
we
that
will
might
ask
change your protein ratio in the milk, so that this also can explain maybe your different results in the protein in the milk and so on. Just an idea.
Yeah. Maybe the protein quality, you know, soybean meal is good protein. At DDGS, maybe it's a little bit low. So we should balance lysine and methionine balance. Maybe that's further step we can work with some professors and companies. Yeah.
Everyone join me again in thanking Dr. Li for his presentation, please.